What's up, guys? Welcome to the fourth quarter again. Mo's gonna be joining us shortly. Anyway, how's your week, Craig?
Is my mic? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
How can you hear me?
I don't know. I can hear you.
Oh, I ain't got my other microphone. What's going on?
There it goes.
Over there. Can you hear me?
Yeah. There we go, man. Craig's back in the building.
I forgot I ain't had to plug in.
We are gonna go over the fantasy breakout too, but we'll do that later. We post it every Friday, guys. Every Friday, it's not gonna include the Thursday night game, but every Friday we'll talk about the breakout fantasies. Anyway, the NBA season's about to start.
Crazy that it's like a month away. I forgot.
It's crazy.
It's a little less than a month away. I didn't even realize it was coming back that fast. I don't know, man.
I did. I'm starting to see training camp news. I'm starting to see, I gotta eat my crow. The trades ain't done. Because the way, listen, guys, I'm a huge Lakers fan. The way the Lakers roster is constructed right now, we are not making the playoffs. I love LeBron and AD. I don't know.
A few weeks ago, you was saying it was going to be fourth.
I thought we was going to move Westbrook. I don't know, man. Okay, not fourth. I'm not going to discount that. If Westbrook improves and LeBron and AD stay healthy, we'll make the playoffs. This team is, I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna make
I'm not happy. I'm not happy with it.
I think they'll make the play in.
Maybe.
I think they make playoffs, but
maybe. I don't know. I don't know without any moves. Hopefully we can get. They were talking about Utah getting Bragdon Dombanovic and Michael Conley. Right, or Jordan Clarkson. No, Lakers.
Yeah,
Utah has a fire sale going, so
Utah's got a bunch.
They don't care. Yeah. They trying to. Danny Ainge's trying to clean house. I knew it too. As soon as he traded Gobert, I was like, Donovan Mitchell's gone. I think they're trying to clear house. So if we get Bogdanovic and I think Jordan Clarkson, I think we'll be a decent team. We'll have a lot of shooters around LeBron, and AD, but we'll see. It's not done yet, so I don't know. So it's tough. I don't know. I just know that. Shout out to Lakers Nation. It's a little quiet right now. Lakers Nation is it's a podcast and YouTube show I've been following for probably the past year and a half. It's just strictly Lakers. So I remember that one time that you were like, "Y'all not gonna go to the playoffs?" I was like, "No," because I listened to Lakers Nation and it's just in depth. That's all they talk about is Lakers salary cap, future projected salary cap. Like we're not gonna be able to sign a big star next year because their projected salary cap is probably gonna be around $25 million. That's why they just need to get the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. But I don't think the Pacers are doing that. Or get Jordan Clarkson and Bogdanovic. Like just go, you know what I'm saying? Like just get Westbrook and just get those salaries because we can't sign a big star. We know this. Kyrie's not coming to LA tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next year. We can't afford him. Kyrie, you know how this is. Kyrie's gonna ball out. Somebody's gonna pay him $40. He's gonna ball out this year.
They wouldn't have enough money after Westbrook goes.
No, because the LeBron and AD take most of the salary cap. So we'd be able to probably sign somebody for like 20, 25 million. We just can't sign a third star because of all the bench players, and that's what the salary cap guy said. He broke it down very specific. Like he even broke down roster bonuses, draft pick. If the Lakers miss the playoffs, 8 or 9, 10 8 to 9 million for the cap is for that pick. Because the higher pick, the more you have to pay. I was like, damn, he really broke it down. So he was like, best case scenario, they'll have 20, 25 million, which is like a Buddy Hield or, like, not saying that, but they get a, anyway, guys, Lakers aren't gonna, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But now let's start off with this, man. Robert Salver is, he received a 1-year suspension, but it just came out today that he is selling the team, which is very interesting. Adam Silver was working behind the scenes, and he's pressured. He was pressured to sell the Suns. Article just came out. What do you think about that?
Personally, I'm glad I thought the punishment was weak. I thought he should have. I mean, what's the guy's name? Donald Sterling kind of had the similar thing, except his was.
Yep.
It was recorded, so they had actual video, or not video, but they had audio of him saying racial slurs and whatever else he was saying.
Magic Johnson.
So, that's kind of the same situation, but it was just how everything came out was different. But even still, like, this is just unacceptable. And I'm glad that he felt pressure to resign and give up his ownership and try to sell the team. Because I just thought the fine that he got and the suspension was just not enough. Yeah. It's just something that shouldn't happen in the workplace. It's just unacceptable especially for anybody in general, but for a person in power that coming off as intimidating and being homophobic or racial and throwing out racial slurs or being misogynistic or anything like that. Like, there's just it's uncomfortable you don't want to go to work there. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but I mean, you have to go to support your family at the end of the day. But I mean, like, he's the owner of the Suns. He's the owner of or soon to be not the owner of the Phoenix Mercury as well. So he has women that he has to see as far as his players that he's the owner of. He has men, Black, like other racial, other ethnicities. I'm sure there's a bunch of employees, not basketball players, but other employees there that are not just white. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Like, I'm glad that he is deciding to step down. I'm glad he's deciding to, or whatever he's doing, or he feels pressure, or they're handling it behind the scenes, whatever the case may be. I'm glad it's coming out and he's actually selling the team, and hopefully they can get somebody in there that is obviously the opposite of this guy. I just wish guys like Chris Paul, who's the president of the CBA, or the Players Association. I mean, like, I wish he would have came out and he would have said something earlier. He's a member of the Suns. He's been there for years. Yeah. Guys, like, I know they came out after the fact. Like, LeBron came out after the fact. Draymond came out after the fact. Like, I wish these guys, when these rumors happened last year, I don't really remember too many people talking about it, especially anybody from the Suns or the Mercury. I could be wrong. Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember it being. Yeah, I don't remember it being like this after the verdict type outlash. So kind of wish those guys had spoken up beforehand, and it might have been like a bigger outcry, and like it had been maybe got the ball rolling a little bit earlier. But at the end of the day, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad he's gone, or soon to be gone. I really wish the NFL would look at this and see what happened. I know there are two different groups and they're two different organizations and they handle stuff differently and all that, but you got this situation. You got the Daniel Snyder situation. Yes. But I mean, it's like, it's not the same. I think what Daniel Snyder did could be considered worse. Like, he was actually sexually harassing and like doing other things behind the scenes. And there's like a whole organization basically of higher ups. Of a toxic, like, uncomfortable workplace. So I wish the NFL would take a look at what the NBA has gotten rid of basically two owners in the last, I don't know how many years, I don't know, 10 years or something like that, or 10. 8 years, whatever it is. I'm just saying 10. So,
Yeah,
and
I
the
would say
NFL
twenty.
has gotten rid of one with Jerry Richardson. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, man, you
that's
got this whole
rare
this it's definitely rare, but I
in the
mean, you also
NFL.
don't really get
Yeah,
these. I mean, it's rare in general, but
yeah, yeah.
you don't often get these scandals coming out about owners. You don't often get these like these big name guys or big name millionaires, billionaires coming out and having these scandals about them
Yeah.
that comes out like this in the light. And the NBA, they didn't handle it to me like they should have in the beginning, but eventually it got to this point, and now he's having to resign. And I just wish the NFL would kind of see what's going on and take that and try to get the same pressure on Daniel Snyder. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to whatever happened behind the scenes to get him out
Yeah.
of there. And I hope this never happens again. Like, I mean, it's probably is going to happen again. It's probably stuff happening now we don't know about that might
Yeah.
come out in a couple of years. Who knows? But like, this is just unacceptable.
Yeah, man. I first saw it, I was like, the first person I thought of was Daniel Snyder. I was like, I wish, being a Commanders fan, um, that, you know, the things that people do in power are crazy. And people don't deserve that. Like the way that you talk to people, like I read the article and I was like, what? Like whipping his thing out, like, come on. You gotta be, this is ridiculous. Like if a manager did that at my job, he's fired. If a manager did that at any job, right? Even if it's like I used to work at Wendy's or a restaurant, that guy's gone. Like, and this is an NBA franchise that this is happening. And you gotta carry yourself better than that. And it's so interesting that sometimes that we hold, NBA owners and NFL owners should be held to a high standard, but 9 times out of 10, they have character issues. Seriously. And this isn't like, some billionaires are nice. Like you got the Mark Cubans, you got um Myers from Golden State. But I guess that's in life. You got some good people, some bad people. But it's like the stuff that he was doing, man, was crazy. I was reading an article like, come on, man. But now this probably happens a lot, but I can only imagine what was happening when there was no cameras around. That we're in a day and age that people are more and more not afraid to say something. Back when we were growing up, Craig, this is probably going rapid. Like, it was probably wild. Like, people were probably saying stuff and getting away with it. And nowadays, as it should be, because you want to be treated with respect, is that people are more, you know, people are more confident of coming out saying, you can't treat me like this. And I like that, even in the social media era, because you got to think, probably without the power of Twitter and the power of the public outcry, because the public and fans, we have a little bit more access because of, stuff that leaks, right? So when when writers do articles like this, and then people come out on social media, and then you got LeBron James saying, NBA, you gotta do a better job. Yeah, yes, we do. And the reason I like Adam Silver is he's like, okay, we give him a year. He says this in public. We give him a year, right? And he gets a $10 million fine. And then today, Robert Saleh was like, hey, I gotta sell the Suns. I was forced to sell. Because Adam Silver and other owners was like, hey, we can't have this. And I like that. You know, it's like a chess move. Like, yeah, this is it. And then behind the scenes, he's like, "Hey, I think you should sell the team." No. Yeah, you know. So let's say bad boys move of silence, but I think the other commissioners can take note, especially Goodell, and it's hard because not only Snyder. I mean, look at the Miami Dolphins owner. Ridiculous, man.
Um,
You know, everything that he did, calling in question of the integrity of the game. You know, got to protect the shield. Are you? Are you really? But we know what it's about. We know what it's about, man. So
I mean, there was like 70 plus people that had like the same accusations against Sarver.
yeah,
So I mean,
crazy.
it's a lot of the same people, or a lot of people saying the same thing.
Yeah, and he keeps denying it. I didn't say the N word like that. I just read it was like it's so many people that saying like, yeah, he used to say it on the regular. No, I didn't. What? Well, you're saying all these people are lying? One time, boom. All right, you're ignorant. You're probably racist. Cool. But then the next time, then the next time, then the next time, then the next time. I just read articles like, yo, he said it's like 7 different stories where he was like, yo, the Draymond Green one. Then it's an instance of he was talking to the coach, Earl Watson. Then he was talking to, sometimes this gets on my nerves by other cultures. They'll be like, oh, I can say it because they said it in the song. It's like, well, no. And I feel like when that gets asked, well, why can't I say it? You can say it in the song. That means you've already said it multiple times. To me, you're just asking to see for my validation, and you're never going to get it. So I don't know, man. It's just interesting. So I'm glad the NBA did good. I wish the NFL would take suit, but I don't see that happening. So, Craig, the serious talks, man. The one and done rule. It's about to be done. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm kind of mixed, torn a little bit. But I'm kind of in favor, obviously, of
I thought we had conversations.
18. Yeah, I mean, but that stopped in like 2005. So like over the last, I don't know what it's been, 16 years or so, 17 years or so. Like I kind of feel a little bit different about it, but I'm all for guys. If you think you're ready to go to the NBA, cool, you make that leap. And if you're not, you still have the opportunity to go to school, go to college. You have the opportunity to go to the G League. You can play overseas if you want to.
Yeah. So let me ask this. I thought so. If they update it, because originally once you declare for draft, you can't go back to school, right?
They changed that. It's about if you got an agent before a certain time. There's like a deadline, a cutoff. If you don't get an agent. Or you can say, no, I want to go back or something like that. I think they did update those rules.
Okay, good, because then that would be fair if it's like,
Yeah, like, I got to go back at it, but I know
they're probably gonna update it.
So makes sense. Yeah. So I mean, like I'm for, if you think you're ready to go to the NBA, then cool, go to the NBA. You can make that leap, and if you think you're good enough, then cool. Some people are going to have a high grade coming out of high school. It's going to be difficult, I think, for scouters to scout these guys coming out of high school versus them being in college.
Yeah,
you're playing at least against guys. I mean, you're playing against better competition in college versus
yeah. You get to see if you're really that guy in college.
Not everybody's coming out of college as LeBron or Kevin Garnett or something like that. So it's going to be, that part's going to be a little bit more challenging to find like that guy. Yeah. I kind of want to see what happens with some of these I guess guys who borderline, what do they do? Like they decide they want to try to go to NBA or they try to go to college or one of these other options that they have, especially with college having NIL now.
Yes,
You're
that's
not always,
huge.
yeah. I mean, you're not going to make as much money probably. You're probably not going to make as much money in the NBA with the NIL though, depending on who you are. Maybe it is because I know that kid in was he went to Jackson State or something like that, or Florida or Miami, one of them schools down there. He had like a $9 million deal or $8 million, something like that. It was something crazy for him going to college. So it's possible, definitely possible. So I mean, you got that, you got colleges throwing that out there at you. You come here, you get this NIL deal versus going to the NBA, and then you can also just progress and make yourself better.
Yeah.
Or you just go to the NBA, sit on the bench if you're not going to be a starter or like a role player or something like that. You get that experience just being there in that locker room and being around some of those big name guys. So and then like at least as it pertains, like I'm a big college fan, especially for Carolina. Carolina does not get a lot of one and dones. Like
Duke, that's what I'm saying. Kansas, Duke does, right?
Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, for the most part, those schools get a lot of one and done. So for me as a fan, I'm cool with it because Carolina doesn't get a lot of those. So I mean, it kind of makes it a little bit more even. But
as far basketball was still bomb though when the one and done rule was in there. Yeah, you still had people still had people like Tim Duncan and Chris Paul going to college. Like I think John Moran would have still went to Murray State. I don't think he would have came out. I don't think Steph would have came out. I don't think Dame Lillard would have came out.
The average experience has dropped a lot from before the one and done rule, or even like 10 years ago. From as far as like teams are now like so low in terms of experience compared to how they were maybe like 10 years ago. Then you also have to look at the when this does go into effect, I would assume 2024, the 2023 draft class. What do they do? Do they?
Yeah, probably 20.
It's gonna be 2024.
It has to be 2024.
It's right after Bronny is eligible. But I mean, I'm trying to figure out like what do they do? Like it's gonna be a lot of high school players that I would assume are going to be coming out and going into the draft in 2024. But then you have those guys that were one and dones in college, or you also have maybe like second year guys. What do they go a year before? Do they go? That 2024 class is going to be probably stacked with a lot of one and dones and a lot of high school guys.
Yeah.
And the mix of some veteran college players or whatever you want to call it in there. So, I mean, do you want to take that chance? And then you got a lot of teams stacking up, like the Pelicans have a lot of the Pelicans, the Thunder, they have a lot of unprotected first round picks in the 2024 draft.
Utah,
so they're going to be ready for that draft class coming up in 2024. So, and obviously it's going to drain the talent pool. Looking at college basketball, it's going to be obviously you had guys like Zion. One and done. You had guys like Anthony Davis, one and done.
Kyrie.
Those guys are not going to be there anymore. Those guys.
Kyrie went straight to the NBA.
So you got to figure out how you're going to balance that.
Cousins probably would have went straight to the NBA.
Because before you had, I mean, obviously it was teams out there that could win championships and things like that. But I mean, it was just a different atmosphere. It was a different strategy. You didn't have a lot of one and done. So you got to figure that out again for some of these teams who are used to getting one and dones. So that has to play a part in it. I mean, you're going to get some big name guys still in there, but Cade Cunningham's, they're not going. Evan Mobley's not going. Stuff like that. So I think when LeBron's son, his second, what is his name? It's not Bronny. What's his other son?
Yeah.
Name?
Oh, he's going to be a beast too.
He's going to go probably straight to the NBA. Bryce. He's going to be eligible to go straight to the NBA in 2024. Yeah. Bronny's going to have to probably go to college. He's going to have to go to college or go some other route, but Bryce is probably going to go straight to the NBA.
Bronny might go to college. It depends. He seems. I know people are against that. Like, Bronny's not going to go to college. I don't know. He might go. He might.
I mean, he doesn't have to technically, but
he doesn't have to. He could go to the G League or play overseas. But I don't know if I could see. I could see Bronny going to a college for a year, and you know what I'm saying. Like, I could just see him like, I'm gonna go to college for a year.
It's going to just be a lot of older older teams coming up, like Gonzaga's, Carolina, a lot of teams that don't get a lot of one and dones. It's going to be a lot of these older teams a lot of experience,
Yeah.
a lot of experienced rosters. I mean, you probably can do. He probably still going to get some one and dones,
Yeah.
especially some of the like the mid tier guys who are eligible and ready to the NBA, but not all that ready. So, you know, I'm for it. I'm for it if you're good enough to go, because there's been 41 guys who have made the jump from high school to the NBA, and only 10 of those guys
10.
have made an All-Star team. 9 of those 10 guys have made an All NBA team. So far, only 3 of them are Hall of Famers. Now, you're going to get 2 more.
Kobe, Tracy McGrady, and Moses Malone and KG. No.
Nah, Moses Malone he didn't go straight to high school. All right,
Yeah,
straight
he
from high
did.
school. No, he's not on this list. I think
He went to the ABA. He went to the ABA. He went from high school to the ABA. All right, that's fair.
That kind of counts, but it doesn't count. But
Yeah,
as far as just going to the
NBA, we know he counts. I got you. As far as the NBA,
and then you got LeBron, who's going to be Hall of Famer, and you got Dwight Howard, who's going to be.
Was I right with the 3 so far?
Yeah, those 3 are right.
Kobe and Kevin Garnett. Yeah.
Those are the only 3, and this goes back to 75. So you haven't had, and so that means the rest of the guys that are on this list, obviously didn't make anything. Some of them didn't even play a single quarter, a single minute in the NBA. So I mean, you know, it's a lot of out of this. I mean, it's a small sample size, but 41 guys, 10 to make an All-Star team.
I mean, I get that.
You know, it's like 25% basically.
Yeah.
But and I just think that some of these guys coming out of high school are more athletic, and like there's more eyes on them, and they can do a lot more, especially coming from like seeing guys like LeBron has done. Now like nobody's, I mean, not everybody can be a LeBron James, but I think
or Kobe or Kevin Garnett,
right? But I mean,
you gotta be built differently, or Tracy, you gotta be built differently.
I think a lot of these guys could be ready for that jump, and if they're ready for the jump, then cool, take it.
Yeah.
And if you get there and you succeed, then that's great for the league. If you don't, then you know it is what it is. Like maybe him going to college, it wouldn't have changed anything. Maybe it would have. Who knows? Like it's always going to be that what if factor if they don't pan out.
Yeah, so. I agree with you. I think that I understand what you're saying. Listen, I don't think they need to get rid of it. I think you could go straight to high school. You could golf. You could play tennis. See professional other countries. You could be. Luka was 15 playing basketball. Like, you know, we gotta come on now. You know, I guess I kind of see football. I get it because the body size and the body type. Football is a little bit more violent sport, but all the other sports you could be of age. With NBA, you don't need it. And I like what I agree with what you said, but I think that goes to anything in life. I think some guys go to college and they don't make it there. You know, some guys are top 10 draft picks and don't make it in the NFL. I think that just goes with everything in life. Some people are prodigies and they don't live up to the pressure. You know, nobody knew that Kobe was going to be Kobe. We got drafted 13th. And then he got traded, you know? So I think it depends on the individual. Because I know it's a lot of people that went to college that were top picks and are bust. I'll tell you that much. There's a lot of NBA players. It's a lot that went to college for 1 year and are bust. So I think it depends on who you are. And I think everybody deserves a shot, you know? So if you think that you can make this leap and you think that you can play in NBA 18, try it. If not, you're going to have to find different routes. Steven Jackson, you know, he after college, he played overseas, and then made it to the NBA. And it had, I think, like a 15-year career. But you gotta, you know, it's not easy for everybody. Gilbert Arenas is another one. I think, well, Gilbert Arenas had knee problems, but he had a heck of an NBA career, right? So you gotta and they're second round picks. Look at Draymond. So you know, I think it depends on who you are as a person, and if you can have that mentality to make it. You know, like I think John Morant would have still went to college and still been okay. I think Steph still would have went to college and been okay. Dang, right? But I also think that Kyrie would have went straight to the league because some players just have that mentality. Some people have that mentality. It's people that I'm not comparing the NBA to this. This is on a broader spectrum, but we work right. I worked in restaurants and I've seen people be like, I can make it here and they're gone in 3 weeks. Like what? It's you know what I'm saying. So it just depends if you can push through the adversity and really focus on what you want. And if you say, I'm going to be the best NBA player, and you come in and you struggle for a couple of years, you keep at it, and next thing you know, you're like, I'm trying to think who struggled for a couple of years. T-Mac, Kobe, you know what I'm saying? Kobe was shooting air balls, was on the bench, and then he just, Tracy McGrady was traded. I don't know why Toronto traded him. And he wasn't that he became that guy in Orlando. But I just think it depends on the person. Like you either get molded into that or you get folded with the pressure. And so you could go to college and still get folded with the pressure. So I like it. I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good for college too. I think it's gonna be good. Because I never remember. I think it was some really good college basketball when the one and done was going on. I think Tim Duncan with the college when it was one and done, and so did Chris Paul, Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson. Man, basketball was bomb. Man, it had some fire people come out. Man, I think it's still gonna be. I think it's gonna be straight. I'm telling you, Craig. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a crazy drop off. I think college basketball is always good. That's one thing. It's always good, man. So I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be phenomenal. All right, here we go. NFL, the week 2 didn't disappoint. I'm gonna start off with this one. Let me tell you something. This NFL week was interesting, right? The Jets beat the Browns in the last minute and 55. Chubb scores a touchdown, and he comes out and says, I should have kneeled. But like that comeback hasn't happened in 20 years, and Browns were the only ones to do it in the past 20 years. I don't really blame Chubb. I think he should have still scored. The Dolphins game was out, man. The Raiders game, I sent you a clip where Quandre Diggs said in the press conference. I sent the clip to the group chat when he was just like, the NFL has a way of humbling you, and they played San Francisco, and San Francisco kind of kicked their butts. They beat them 27-7. He was just like, it's a week-to-week league, and we're just not that good of a football team. It's just this is how polarizing the NFL is. That we all know they beat Denver off a lot of emotion. 2 fumbles in the red zone. Without those 2 fumbles, Denver wins by 14, easy. But the Seahawks are like, we got a good team, and they get right. Get brought back down to earth. He was like, listen, we're not that good of a team. It's like, I can't say that publicly. Oh man, they are who we thought they were. But it was good, man. It was some good games. Cowboys beating the Bengals. It was good. Vikings crushed the Vikings got crushed by the Eagles. Packers crushed the Bears. It was some good games, man. What you think about the week 2?
I mean,
anything stand out to you?
I mean, just the comeback games. Like obviously in this area we get the Ravens and we get the Commanders. So got to see the Ravens game, and I thought it was over. I think Joe even texted the thing. He was like,
Yep.
give me another game to watch besides this
He
Ravens
did say
this
that.
game because this is over. And he
He did say that.
whatever. So
I thought it was over too.
being up 35-14 going into the fourth, like yeah, I thought there's no way you can. I mean, I've seen comebacks before. I've seen Peyton Manning with 6 minutes left come back down 21 against the Bucks. That was one of the craziest
That was
ones.
bomb. That was
years and years ago. But I've seen that one. And I mean, you had this weekend, you had, I mean, obviously 28-3.
Was that game on Monday,
Falcons,
Monday or Sunday night?
Patriots. What?
The Bucks
I
and
don't
the
know.
Colts?
Nah, I don't remember. That was so long ago. I just remember I was in the Air Force at the time and I was working. It was at night. So I guess it was some type of night game.
Yeah, I think it was Monday night. That joint was crazy.
Maybe it was. And I just remember being at work because my friend, my supervisor at the time was a Colts fan. So he was saying it was over. Or he was saying there was no way we're going to come back or whatever it is, it's over. And then all of a sudden he's just going crazy. So I remember that game. But
2003, Monday night.
It was a lot of I mean, I guess you could say comebacks, but I mean, is it blown leads? Like, do you blame the team that lost, or do you praise the team that came back? Like, some of these are just out of control. Some, like, I do blame the Browns for losing that game. I do praise the Dolphins for winning their game, and I do blame the Raiders for losing their game. Like, I give credit to the Dolphins, I guess, for making a big comeback. I guess you could easily blame the Ravens or whatever, but I guess just like the Browns game, I don't understand. I mean,
I didn't get that.
I get scoring, but I mean, if you're trying to win the game, you could easily just take a knee and run some more clock. So,
they were up by so much with like a minute 55. That was crazy. Yo.
I mean, if you take a knee there with a minute 55 to go, then you're just milking the clock at that point. And
that's a wrap.
And the defense should have stopped them, shouldn't have given up the big touchdown pass, and then given up the onside kick.
So you think Chubb should have?
Like you have to.
You think he should have kneeled and not scored?
I think he should have kneeled and not scored. I mean, if you want to score later, then cool. Or if you want, but I think he should just milk the clock because we've seen situations like this where you blow the lead, you blow the game. And same thing with like Hunter Renfrow had. Well, he fumbled the ball once, and he fumbled the ball again, and then it led
that game was crazy.
I honestly thought that I can't remember who the guy who ran it back. I thought he let go of the ball before the end zone. So that's that would have been interesting if he had did that, but
he almost did.
They ruled it the touchdown, and then the Ravens game. I don't know what happened on that one. I mean, Tua just got hot. This is a game they needed to win and to show that they're for real.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's crazy. So, then you look at like I don't know what happened with the Colts, man, but I mean that's embarrassing,
man. Our baby Corey did not come on because of that.
That's embarrassing. And there's no way. And then Corey sent the thing in there, but they've been shut out 3 times since like 19.
That's crazy.
Or something. All 3 times to the Jaguars. Like, come on, man.
In Jacksonville.
So it was a good week.
Is the Jaguars leading the division?
Yeah, they're only team to win. It was a good week up until the last 3 games. The one Sunday night and the 2 Monday night. That was an embarrassing game. But other than that, really, the games that I watched were really, really close games, really interesting games. Games that came down to the wire for the most part, like a 1-score game. So as usual, football, NFL never disappoints. You're always going to have a few games out there that are going to be blowouts, but you're going to have some other games as well that are going to be close or some type of drama involved. Some teams look good. Some teams still don't. Like I'm still waiting for the Broncos. I'm still waiting for the Colts. I'm still waiting for the Bengals. Teams like that, like the who else? The Packers. Like just certain teams that you would expect to be looking better than the Raiders, looking better than what they are, but they just haven't shown it yet. Man, maybe in a few more weeks with more reps and more game time, they'll be fine. But like so far, it's just been a bad start for some of these teams. Titans as well.
Yeah. Actually, that's a perfect thing to lead into our next topic. Now, teams that have started 0-2 in the NFL season since the merger in 1970 have made the playoffs just 9.5% of the time. According to the Sporting News, Edward Suitland, entering week 2, 400 teams over that time frame that started 0-2 Only 38 making the postseason. Perfect time for Mo to come in here.
Oh, typical Mo.
Perfect time, man.
Thanks, Mo.
What?
Thanks for joining us, man. We've been going around all day.
Right, he came right on football.
What's up, Mo? James
What's up, Mo?
you, man? James was dogging you, man. I ain't saying nothing. I was trying to defend you, but you know.
Mo already know. Jeez, I don't know. Mo, how long we known each other, man? Oh, we can't hear you, Mo. Can't hear you. Hold on, he about to figure it out. I mean, Mo, 2006?
Yeah, you give me that?
Yeah, 2006?
Yeah, since Maul. Yeah.
Long time, man. Long time. Mo, right on time, man. I'm about to read this in. I'm about to ask you. I'm about to ask you this, man, because we just talking about the recap of the NFL. Actually, what is your recap on week 2?
I mean, a couple of teams I'm nervous for. I think that a couple of just bad plays, bad moments.
Yeah.
You hurt for them, but you look at it. Tennis, that AFC South is wide open. That's what I'm looking at. Like, that's just sad. Like,
it's crazy, man.
And they was the NFL Live people. They was leaning on Tennessee. They said Tennessee don't have. They was like, even with having Derrick Henry, they was like, Tennessee has no identity right now. Like, what do they hang their hat on? They was like, they got rid of offensive linemen. They got rid of their 2 best offensive linemen, so they can't run with Derrick Henry. They got rid of AJ Brown, so you can't. They have nobody on the outside that scares you.
Nobody understood why they got rid of AJ Brown. It didn't make no sense.
So now you sitting here stuck. So I mean, it's just but then the Bills look good, man. I think the Bills just look like they got, but then again, I mean, until they knock off Kansas City or until they get there, it's like, all right, here you go again. We've seen them have good regular seasons.
Yeah.
So
Kansas City's a hard one to knock off, though. They made it to all the AFC Championships games the past 4 years.
Now the Browns should be ashamed of themselves, though. You can't give them 2 touchdowns less than a minute and a half like that. That's just
crazy.
To almost 40-year-old quarterback that nobody want no more. Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. All right, Bo. Since I'm gonna ask you this question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teams have started 0-2 in the NFL season since the merger in 1970.
Right.
Have made the playoffs just 9.5% of the time, according to Sporting News.
Right.
Edward Sulan. Entering week 2, 400 teams over that time frame have started 0-2.
Right.
Only 38 making the postseason. Out of these 0-2 teams, I did not put the Colts because they're not 0-2.
I got you.
They will be, though.
They will be.
They will be. They will be.
Oh, they got Kansas City. Oh, they got Kansas City next
week.
Yeah,
they got Kansas City. They will be. All right, so I guess so, but technically they're not. It is the Las Vegas Raiders, Cincinnati Bengals, Tennessee Titans, Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons. Do you have any of those 0-2 teams making the playoffs?
Because I had them, I think I had them making the playoffs in the beginning. I got to stick by this. I'm gonna say the Bengals. I just think you got too much talent not to turn it around, but the O-line play has to be better. If the O-line play doesn't improve, they're gonna be in trouble. Like, it's just too much talented teams in the AFC, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Like, we always talk about the offenses, but there's some talented defenses in the AFC that you got to face. And if you can't get the O-line together, you ain't even face. You already lost to Pittsburgh. You already lost to Pittsburgh, so that's already one loss in the division. You still got to play them one more time. You still got to play the Ravens twice.
And
the Browns defense ain't nothing. The Browns defensive line ain't nothing to sniff at. So it's like if you don't get these offensive line issues fixed, you're gonna be in trouble. I don't care what receivers you have.
So you're going with the Bengals.
Yeah, I would say the Bengals.
All right. I agree because it's crazy how they said they fixed the O-line and they have 13 sacks. Like Joe Burrow's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Again. That's a big issue. Craig, what 0-2 teams? Which ones? You got the Las Vegas Raiders, Cincinnati Bengals, Tennessee Titans, Carolina Panthers, and Atlanta Falcons. Who's making the playoffs?
Well, I'm definitely not saying the Panthers or the Falcons.
Yeah, you better say that about the Panthers. Yeah.
To me, it comes down to the Bengals and the Titans.
Oh,
the Bengals,
okay.
just because the Bengals they have better talent. They just seem like they're just going through like a Super Bowl hangover type thing or something like that. Plus the offensive line, which looked like on paper it was better, 13 sacks in 2 games just hasn't really shown that they are better as far as their O-line is concerned. The Titans, they obviously just talked about them, like they don't really have an identity. Like they're trying to get Derrick Henry back. I think he's still maybe a little bit hobbled or whatever it is, still a little bit injured, but they don't have a guy they can throw the ball to. Robert Woods is still trying to adjust. Still trying to get another receiver on the other side, whoever that may be.
Traylon Burks is not working out?
It's not. It doesn't seem like it. So I don't know who that receiver is going to be. Doesn't seem like they have anybody over there that wants to even beat a number 2 guy. Then you have their defense. I think their defense is not as good. They're especially, but then like you look who they played. Like I understand they should have beat the Giants. They couldn't stop the run in that game. They gave up a lot of yards, 160 some plus yards. And then this game, obviously, they played the Bills. So, it's kind of hard to even say anything about them because they're playing the best team in the league. But their division is so bad. Like at least to me, the AFC North, the division is better. It's gonna be tougher. It's gonna be tougher for the Bengals to win that division versus where I think the Titans can.
Yeah, I got you.
Not 7, maybe like 8 and 9.
And
still win this division. Because I still
you can say 7 or 10. The Commanders were 7 and 9. We made it.
Even though the Jaguars are leading the division, they got the only win. The Texans have played a little bit better, and you still got the Colts there. Like, I'm not really convinced that the Jaguars or the Texans are gonna be in the hunt at the end of the season for this division. To me, it still comes down to the Colts and the Titans, and all you really have to do to get in the playoffs is win your division. This is one of the weakest, if not the weakest, division in football. So I'm leaning toward the Titans just because their division is so bad, and I think they got a tough game this week. Somebody's going to probably be 0-3 between them and the Raiders, and they could tie. But I'm just going to go Titans just because of their division.
All right. I'm celebrating because the NFC East was considered the worst division of football. That is no longer the case, guys.
At least for this year.
At least for this year. But out of the teams, Las Vegas Raiders, I knew they weren't going to go because of their division. And Josh McDaniels doesn't look like he's the offensive guy. Maybe he's doing too much, putting too much on his plate. So, Devontae Adams against the Arizona team that we just seen Kansas City obliterate. The offensive weapons that the Raiders had, it should have been an easy game, but it wasn't. They couldn't get Devontae Adams the ball, who's the best receiver in the NFL. Anyway, that's who the Raiders are, though. Cincinnati Bengals. The Super Bowl hangover is real. I tried to say it. I've been preaching it. Joe Burrow missed camp. They have a new offensive line. I do think they're going to have a record like 9-8, where they're going to get better when in the second half of the season. But and then next year I'm gonna look for them to be better. But that Super Bowl hangover is real, man. And it's hard to go against history. Joe Burrow misses camp, didn't play in the preseason, new O-line. They're trying to get in sync. So, and they're a better team than this. So I just don't think they're gonna make it. I think, Tennessee Titans, they have a lot going on. But Craig is right. The only reason Tennessee could go is because of their division is crabby, but they look like a bad team. And a lot of people are saying the Jaguars are going to win a division. And some people said this. I'm not a fan of that. But some people said, I think the Colts still have a chance. But some people said this. J-Mac, a lot of people, I was like, okay, watch out for the Jaguars this year. I said, okay,
You said it before the season started or
before the season started. A couple people, I think Nick Wright said something. He was like, a lot of people haven't. I thought the Colts were easily going to win the division, but I don't know. Frank Wright might not be the guy. But it's still time. It's still time. Carolina Panthers. We knew how they were going to be. Craig said it. He's a big Carolina fan. Every time he says something about Carolina, he knows more than we do. When you're a fan of a team, you're more invested, and you pay attention more.
The only question left is, did the coach make it?
Nah, he's getting fired.
Listen. The going back to since he's been there, Matt Rule is 1-25 when the other team scores 17 points or more.
That's crazy.
He's not going to make
that
it.
That is crazy. 1-25.
His only win was like week 5 or week 6 in 2020 against the Cardinals.
That is sick.
A late touchdown or something, and gave him like
17 points.
So they're not in any position to.
That's
when
sick.
you give up 17 or more points, it's pretty much game over, unless they have like a big lead or something, which they haven't.
That's sick, man. Yeah, but I listened to Craig, man, about Carolina. And I fell for it last year. I was like, Carolina's going to be good. They got Sam Darnold. Craig was like, no, they're not. And I fell for that bait. Atlanta, we knew they weren't a good team. I know the coach thinks they are. Kyle Pitts isn't even getting the ball, which is absurd. I don't know what's going on. Drake London looks good. Their quarterback, I think they should start Ritter. That's just me. They have been in some games, but I'm so weary of teams when a team will blow them out and then they'll be like, we played good in the fourth quarter. Of course you're going to play good in the fourth quarter if you're getting blown out. The other team is lax. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when teams start getting blown out in the fourth quarter and they're like, yeah, we did good. It's like, no, you're not. You're not a good team. You just say that. Because if you were a good team, you would be 0-2. So I don't think so, man. So it's gonna be tough. And then we'll be talking about the Colts next week. I don't know. We're gonna talk about them a little later. 0-3 is tough. 0-2-1 is gonna be tough. All right, Craig, I'm gonna start with you. Denver hired a new coach, new quarterback, Russell Wilson. They got him. Boom. Got a new coach, Nathaniel Hackit, offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Boom. Off season. The offense has been bad in the red zone. And Nathaniel Hackett has been getting this nickname that's been going around. I think it was on the Denver Post. Nathaniel can't hack it. So, Craig, do you think he's over his head as a head coach? Do you think it was a wrong decision? Hire?
I don't know if it's the wrong decision. It's only 2 games into the season. He's not been there for a year. Now you give him to the end of this year and see what happens, especially since this team has expectations to win the division, like some people say, or at least make the playoffs.
Slow down and win the division.
That's what Corey said he's going to win the division. He said
he did.
I'm not buying it. I did not. I don't even have him in the playoffs. So I mean, like
I had him in the playoffs slide.
I still don't have a good player. They're good. I really don't.
I agree with that. They don't look like it now.
I think that at least just going back to week one, it's going back to week one in general. Like at the end of the game, you got, I don't know, you got like a minute or whatever it is, and you're at, I don't know what yard line they were, I can't remember. But they let the clock run down to 20 seconds, then they call a timeout and they bring out a kicker on 4th and 5. McManus, who's a pretty good kicker, but I mean, kicker. Like his record for like kicking 60-yard field goals, 60+ yard field goals is like he's 1-5 or 1-6 or something like that. It's not like it's a great
it's not like he's Justin Tucker.
Yeah, like he's not done a great job as far as kicking 60-yard field goals. Plus, it's a 60+ yard field goal. Like you're not really.
Those are rare.
Like, come on, and you're not in Denver, so the altitude and all that stuff is not at your. It's not at your advantage. Now he almost made it, but I mean, obviously he didn't. But like you have a quarterback over there who was torching the Seahawks. Is his return back home? It's 4th down, and you paying him $250 million.
I'm going for it.
Tried to take the ball out of his hand, and he was lighting him up.
He was.
Take the ball out of his hand, and then you decide to get like that's just a bad mistake by him. That was terrible. The offense looked horrible against Houston. Like it was a 9-6 game, I think, going into the 4th. Like it was terrible. Yeah, I really wasn't paying attention to it because it was just a horrible game to watch.
It was a bad game.
Fascinated by trash. That's why I turned the Panthers off. But you know, it's just not. It was just not. He hasn't started out good. Like his team is supposed to be a lot better farther along than what they are. Because all they said was we're missing a quarterback. That's all we need.
That's all they said.
Defense, we got a wide receiver core. We got running backs.
They should have kept Fangio.
All we need is a quarterback, and then they bring in a new quarterback, and Russell Wilson is just not looking like Russell Wilson. I mean, he was 14 for 31 against the Texans. I don't think the Texans are that great of a defense, and you're at home. You're at home doing this. So I mean, it's just like I don't know. Like now this week is going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be a tough game because they're playing the Niners, and I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be tough.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, they're playing them at home, but I mean, like I don't even feel good about that because of the last performance.
Yeah. But
it's so far not only has Hackett, but Russell Wilson, they both looked in over the head. Now I think it's going to take a little bit of time for this team to get up to speed, and unfortunately for them, they don't have that type of because they're not in the AFC South or they're not in the NFC at all. They're in the AFC West, so you can't really go in these games and just like
AFC West is real.
Huddle these games and just take them slow, and then just finally starting to catch fire later on the game. It's not gonna. That's just not a recipe for success to me. So they're gonna have to figure it out. Unfortunately, they got 49ers coming up this week. They haven't even gotten to their division games, so I can only imagine how that's gonna go. But they got some tough games coming up. Obviously, they got a tough schedule. To me, like I said, I didn't have them in the playoffs anyway. So, you know,
who'd you have?
I had the Dolphins.
You had the Dolphins, and you had the Bengals,
and I had the
smart
Dolphins, Bengals, and I had the Dolphins, Bengals, and I had the Chiefs as my wild cards.
Yeah, Chargers winning.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had two from.
Yeah, I had two from the AFC West. But it wasn't the Bengals. I mean, it wasn't the Broncos or
it was. Raiders. Yeah, it was Chargers and Chiefs, and then for the North, you had Bengals, Ravens.
No, I had Ravens. Yeah, Bengals, Ravens.
Ravens, and then the East, you had Bills, Miami. Yeah, and then the solo team. Did you have the Colts?
The Colts.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's looking really good right now.
It's still early. I think the Broncos can still make a comeback. It's only 2 games in, but it's just going to be like they have to get going soon because they have so much talent on that team on both sides, and they just have to play a lot better. The offense is what's killing them right now. The defense is playing really good. The offense and the coaching is just terrible.
Yeah. I was listening. Shout out to Colin Cowherd. He was like, "Yo, this is so funny. You know, like 70% of coordinators in NFL don't make it. You know, and Hackett looks like he's in over his head a little bit. But I knew this was going to happen. I knew that, You need time for this to work. Everybody is so high on the Broncos, Corey. But once again, we've seen this happen in the past. I'm not saying, I don't know if he's in over his head. I think it's in a big adjustment for him and Russell Wilson. I don't think they'll figure out later in the season. I knew this is going to happen. They're going to start off slow. This happens in the NFL, man, especially a new quarterback and offense. It happened to Tom Brady. It happened to Matthew Stafford. It happened to Tom Brady. Remember the first season, Tom Brady? They were a wild card. They were like, oh, man, are the Bucks that good? You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady didn't click on the offense. It takes time. You know, I know everybody wants it to be like, Shazam! Shout out to Shaq. Remember that? But everybody wants it to be like a genie, and they want it to be like, you know, a really quick turnaround in the NFL. When that doesn't happen, it doesn't exist. You know, when somebody is learning an NFL playbook for the first time, and somebody's an offensive coordinator for the first time, it takes time. So no, I don't. I think you just give us some time. I think, I think they'll make the playoffs, but it's gonna take some time for them to turn it around and be good. This is the time for them to win the games. Like they should have won Seattle, but you have 2 fumbles inside the red zone by your running backs. That's 14 points. That's tough to come over. They wouldn't even need a field goal. If they get one of those scores, the game's over. So, you know, Seahawks, they should have won. They beat the Texans. We'll talk about the 49ers game. But that's, you know, that's that. So, I think Mo's busy. But all right. Anyway. Oh, let's go with fantasy football, guys. We're gonna do our breakout stars. We're gonna start with we're gonna start with Craig. I know
It's rough stuff, man.
I mean I can start. Unfortunately, Trey Lance is gone for the year, which sucks, man. So,
I picked him last week too.
I know, man. I thought he was gonna have a good game too. A lot of people were picking him. A lot of people were picking him, man.
Yeah, I mean,
and I thought if he stayed healthy, they would have won the game. But you know,
it's unfortunate, man.
It's very unfortunate, man.
I thought he was gonna. I thought he started out pretty well.
Yeah,
but you know, it is what it is, man.
And people are giving Kyle Shanahan flack, and it's like, it's football. That's what happens.
Yeah.
You know, Dak Prescott, same thing happened to him. It's a violent sport. You know, it doesn't matter. The injury could have happened if he was standing in the pocket. It's just football. Injuries happen. So it's no blame nobody. You know. So there we go. Breakout players, fantasy football.
For my quarterback, I have Carson Wentz.
Oh,
I think this could be a shootout with the Eagles.
Yeah.
They're at home. Carson Wentz has played a lot, at least in the second half of the game so far this year. He's played well. Like he's thrown the ball a lot more. They had to come back against the Jaguars or put it away at least, and then they had to come back against the Lions. I mean, they didn't win the game, but they came close. And Carson Wentz was just throwing the ball a lot more, putting a lot more yards. So I'm going Carson Wentz. I just think it's going to be a high-scoring game. My running back, I like David Montgomery against the Texans. David Montgomery's getting the ball a lot more. He's pretty much the only guy they have on offense.
Yeah.
Texans might try to put 8 in the box or something like that and try to make somebody else make Fields beat them because they really don't have any type of passing game. Don't have anybody. Yeah. Komet's not even getting. He hasn't had a catch yet. Mooney or Morney, whatever his name is, he's not getting the ball either. Maybe Montgomery gets the ball receiving, and he can run the ball. So I expect him to move the ball there. And the Texans give up the 3rd most rushing yards in the NFL. My wide receiver is a guy who didn't play last week, Gabe Davis. Saw what the Ravens did to the Dolphins offense or the Dolphins defense in that first half. I know a lot of it was Lamar can obviously run the ball and things like that, but Davis played really well last week or the first week of the season. and he missed last week. But the Dolphins, they give up a lot of yards in passing, and the Bills had the best passing offense in the NFL, or one of the best passing offenses in the NFL. I think they had the best overall after the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I expect Stephon Diggs, who's still going to be there, obviously, but I think Gabe Davis is going to have a good game. My tight end, I got Evan Ingram. I think the Jaguars are going to be down. I think they're going to get beat by a lot in this game against the Chargers. So I expect Evan Ingram to maybe catch some garbage catches. He's getting a lot of targets. And like I said, I just think they're going to be playing from behind. My defense, for some reason, Tampa Bay is outside of the top 10. I know they're playing Green Bay, but like Green Bay has not really shown me anything why their offense should be rated so high that Tampa's defense is rated so low. So I just don't see it. And Tampa gets them at home. Now, I understand that Tampa doesn't have some of their offensive guys, so they might not be able to move the ball as much, but I can't. I mean, Tampa's defense has been playing really, really well. So I'm picking Tampa's defense here, which is for some reason, like I said, is outside the top 10.
Which is very interesting. So it is, because they've been playing crazy. Actually, I think they might be the number one defense in fantasy. I'm not mistaken, but they're up there. Fantasy football for quarterbacks. We got. To be honest, I think I want to say, damn, Carson Wentz was a good one. I'm gonna go. I think Jared Goff's gonna have a good game in Minnesota.
I had him. I
think he's gonna be good. I think Carson Wentz is a good pick too. I think Jared Goff. He got Saint Amon-Ra. So I think they're developing a rapport. It's a great matchup. He's already making some great. He's breaking some great NFL records already. Running back, I'm probably gonna go. This is very interesting, but I'm gonna probably go. I think you already said this, but I like that Dave Montgomery. You know, I like him, man, against Houston. I mean, Houston gives up a lot of yards, and I think it's going to be a really good. I think it's going to be a good start. Receiver. Now, this is going to be very interesting because I think that he's going to have a really good game, and he's been having good games this year, and I think that he needs to start. I think Mike Williams. You said Mike Williams too, didn't you?
No, I said Gabe Davis.
Oh yeah, I like Mike Williams versus he's 21st, which I think that's crazy. I think he should be a lot higher. But I think he's gonna kill Jacksonville, and Keenan Allen is injured, so I think that's gonna play a big part. And he's a big body receiver, so he's gonna go and get it. Tight ends. I'm gonna do Logan Thomas. I think
I had him. And I saw him.
I think Logan Thomas is gonna be a good. I wish I had him on my team, but somebody drafted him before I was able to get him. I think he's gonna be. He was good last year. I had him last year, and I think he's gonna. He has a rapport with Carson Wentz, and I think Philly is gonna. I think this is gonna be a shootout. I think you're right. I think this is going to be a shootout. So I got Dotson. I don't know if I'm gonna start him yet. So we'll see. Yeah, I got my flexes. I got Waddle. I got Jalen Waddle, Michael Thomas, T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, and I have. Who's my other flex? My receivers are deep, and I have who's the other one, James? You got that's I got Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Mike Thomas. So my two flexes are or I'm not gonna start. I got T. Higgins and Michael Thomas in my flexes.
Oh, you got two flexes. Oh,
Yeah. So I'm gonna continue to start them.
okay.
I'm gonna continue to start them. So I got Waddle, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, and Mike Thomas. So they're gonna be starters every week till further notice. So the defense is very interesting. I don't know. I want to say Pittsburgh at Cleveland and Cleveland at Pittsburgh, but I think the Chargers
Pittsburgh
versus
not top 10? Is
I
Pittsburgh
think-
top 10?
yeah, they're at 8, and then Cleveland's 5.
Yeah.
You know what? This is Craig might like this, but you might go Packers at Tampa, or I wouldn't do this, but some people say Carolina and New Orleans. Carolina's a good run defense. I'm not falling for it. I mean, they stopped Saquon. They stopped Saquon, but they gave Chubb crazy. So I don't know. Kamara is hurt too with the ribs, so I don't know how effective he's going to be in the run game. He might not even start. So if Kamara doesn't start, it might be a flyer. So, all right, Mo, for fantasy.
Flying.
All right. So, running back. Hey, I'm gonna go Gibson. I think we got to do it. We can't go slinging the ball around, try to get into a shootout with Philly. I think we have to kind of ball control, take our shots when it's there. But I think we got to get Gibson going in the run game. Receiver, I'm gonna take DK and Hunter Renfrow. I think they gotta get going. I mean, DK got the big contract. The Raiders have been not throwing to Hunter Renfrow. I don't know how you don't throw to him. You know what I'm saying? They've been trying to just only throw to Devontae Adams. They got to open it up eventually, or they're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
Tight end. I think Pitts might get going this week. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take Pitts. And I might take the tight end from New England as well against Baltimore. I think they might try to use him a little bit more. Defense. I know this is gonna sound crazy, James, but I think I might join your bandwagon with this one. Wow, I think Green Bay might show up. Like, I think they're gonna understand that Aaron Rodgers, you don't want to start 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to start 1 and 2. Detroit's looking good. You got Minnesota's looking good. I mean, they lost against Philly, but I think their defense is going to keep them in it and give them a chance. I think they know they can't get into no shootout. They definitely going to understand that you can't get into no shootout with Tampa Bay. Not with that team now.
Yeah.
Oh,
do you think Minnesota? All right. So, quick question. We were talking about Nathaniel Hackit before we go to my favorite topic. Is it that can Nathaniel Hackit?
They gave him. I mean, it's the pressure on him because you gave him. He inherited a team where they felt here's a top 10 defense. We need an offensive mind to get us over the hump. Then they gave him a future Hall of Fame quarterback to go with a decent set of receivers who are exciting, who are good, and they felt like it was going to click right away. And sometimes it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. One or two things going to happen. I see one or two things going to happen. Either Denver's going to catch fire late and it's going to be too late, or Denver's going to catch fire late and make it in, and they're going to be a dangerous out. I can see it going one or two ways. Either Denver going to keep being slow and then catch fire. I think they're going to catch fire. I think they're going to be a slow starting team, and then they're going to catch fire, and then it's going to be, oh, man, is it too late because of the tiebreakers, or is it going to be right at the right time, and then they get in, they're going to be a dangerous out? Because if Denver gets in, they're going to be a dangerous out. They're going to be a tough out.
Okay. All right. I got that. They are going to be a tough. They are. And that's what I said, Mo. I said, listen, man, it all depends on, it just happens. New coach, new quarterback, new offense. It takes time.
This Herbert injury opens some things up because, man, you ran a rib protector. You think teams ain't going to blitz you?
Yeah, they're going to try to hit him.
And Chargers ain't a team that's lined up 2 tight end sets. They like to go 3 wide, 4 wide.
Yeah.
And they like to throw it around the barn. So it's like you.
And Keenan Allen hurt.
Oh yeah, I don't know when he coming back. I'm on my fantasy. I need him to come back. But
I don't know when he might. You got to check his practices.
I got Gary Wilson now and Landry and Waddle. So
Okay. All right. Landry's been doing the work. All right. So, you know what time it is, guys.
who you got?
Favorite time of the night. Yeah. Who you got? I need some things. I'm a creative drum noise, man. I'm a creative music. Watch. All right, we're gonna start off with Mo, man. Who you got? Bills versus Dolphins. Yeah.
Oh, this is a tough one. All right.
Line them up.
I'm gonna take the even kill for offense right now. I'm gonna go even. I'm gonna go even right now. Offense. I know that sounds crazy, but right now I'm gonna take the even. And the only reason, if I know it's gonna sound wild, but I was going to take Miami, but I can't disrespect Josh Allen, so I'd rather just go even in this one. Coaches. Of course, I'm gonna take McDermott. Of course, no disrespect, but I'm gonna take McDermott.
Yeah.
Understandable. Defense, I'm gonna take the Bills. I'll take the Bills, and I'll take the Bills defense. I think it's gonna be a shootout. I mean, I love the Bills defense, but I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna see Miami want to prove that last week wasn't a fluke. Like that comeback wasn't a fluke. That if they can put 4 quarters together, they can put a game together, they can play with anybody.
Yeah. But
I'm gonna say Bills get the stops they need at the end. So I'm gonna go 37-30 Bills.
Oh. Okay. Greg, who you got? Bills versus Dolphins. That's a good score.
I mean, well, I know I got the Bills in every single category. I don't really have the Dolphins in any of these categories. The way the Bills have been playing, they played the Rams, the defending champions. They destroyed them. They played Tennessee. I know Tennessee's not like 12-5 Tennessee from last year, but they're a former playoff team. They destroyed them. I give the Dolphins credit. They beat the Patriots, who was a playoff team last year, a division team as well. Then they go into Baltimore, and then Baltimore was a playoff team, but they could have been if everybody was healthy. And they came back in that game. Didn't look too good for the first 3 quarters, but they came back. So you got to give them credit as well. But I mean, I'm not taking the Dolphins offense. I know how good it is, and I know they got some wide receivers, but they don't really have a running game. I think the Bills' offensive line is better, and I'm taking obviously Josh Allen. The defense, I'm taking the Bills. They haven't really shown me any reason why I shouldn't take them. I mean, 7 points in last week, and then how many points they give up week 1? Like 10, 13?
10, I think.
10. So I mean, I can't take no. Coaching wise, I'm taking McDermott again. So it's pretty much just comes down to the score, and I'm taking the Bills. I think the Dolphins are going to score more than 10 points.
Yeah.
I give them 17, but I give the Bills 30. So 30-17.
Ooh. All right, Bills versus Dolphins. Who you got, Coach? Got to go with McDermott. I did hear some great things about Mike McDaniels. I heard from a radio interview on the Rich Eisen show from Andre Hawkins, who was a wide receiver, and McDaniels was his wide receiver coach. He said McDaniels thinks outside of the box, and he simplifies things for you to understand it, and he goes very unconventionally. So he says he's a great coach, and I think he's going to be good for Miami for years to come. But it's his first year. I like Sean McDermott. McDermott is proven. He has a Super Bowl later roster. Superstar quarterback. Offense. Superstar quarterback. Nothing wrong with Tua. I like Tua. You know how I feel about Tua. I think Tua's a great quarterback. I think he has the weapons. I know everybody was like, whoa, I mean, yeah. Remember, I picked Tua let's see, you picked Herbert, I picked Tua, Joe picked Burrow. But listen, I know I just like Tua. I think he's a good quarterback. He finally has his weapons. I just think that, they will make the playoffs, but this Bills team is just a juggernaut, man. And they're one of the best teams, not only in the AFC, but the whole NFL. And they're on a mission this year. They're on a mission. So offense, Bills. No disrespect to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle though, but like I think Stephon Diggs is the top 5 receiver in the NFL. He's in the top 5 discussion. There's no like if you have a top 5 receiver in the NFL, you have to include Stephon Diggs in it. You don't necessarily include Tyreek Hill. Maybe, but I don't know. Maybe. I could be wrong, but you gotta include Stephon Diggs. He's a must. Defense, I gotta go with the Bills. Von Miller is, I don't know, is he 25 drafted by Denver? Because this is what he's playing like, man. And and then like he's just opening up everything for everybody else. And then their backing was already good. So you can't really pass against them. They got a pass rush.
The All-Pro DB not even back yet, is he?
No.
White.
It's not. He's taking his time as he should.
Yeah.
So offense, check. Coach, check. Defense, check. I love Miami. I love what they do, but they're not making a comeback against this team. And I know everybody's going to be shocked by the score, but it's going to be like 35-21 Bills. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a.
I mean, because of 2 turnovers, or they just can't keep up. Like,
I think they're not gonna be able to keep up, and I think Tua is gonna turn it over. I think the game later in the year is gonna be a better game.
Got it. Is this in Buffalo or Miami? Is this game in Buffalo or Miami?
This is in Miami. Miami. Oh, I shouldn't have did that. Anyway, all right, Craig.
Yeah.
Corey's not here. I would have asked him ASAP because I would love to hear what he says. Because he's gonna try to go Colts all the way. All right, Chiefs versus Colts. I'm sorry, Craig. Who you got? I just would like to hear what Corey has to say.
I mean, okay. Coach, I'm not even gonna waste. It's Andy Reid. This is pretty much another easy one to me. Like, I don't like the offense. The offense to me is the Chiefs. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
I think obviously they had the Colts had the better running back. Arguably the best running back in the league. I think Pittman being out last week hurt that team from a receiver standpoint. They didn't really have anybody to throw the ball to. So I think if Pittman can come back this week, it'll definitely help their offense out. It'll definitely give Matt Ryan a person he can depend on and trust catching the ball. I would prefer to have, if you're not going to have him or if he's hobbled or anything like that, Naheem Hines, like if he can get the ball in space, if they can get the ball to Taylor in space, they wouldn't give him the ball to me enough, but especially early on. And I know once you get down by a lot of points, you have to start throwing the ball more, but whatever. But I think, and they weren't running the ball a lot to me early in the beginning, so they weren't controlling the clock enough. But the Chiefs have the better offense. They don't really have big name receivers, but they still have Kelsey. Then obviously they have Mahomes and CEH looks really good.
Holmes looks like he's a better quarterback, which is scary.
It's tough. So I mean, you have offense. I'm definitely going with the Chiefs. The defense. I know. Leonard hasn't played. Or what's his name now? Shaquille Leonard.
Shaquille Leonard.
But man, like, it's hard not to say the Colts just based off on just looking on paper, the Colts should be the better defense here. But I might lean a little bit towards the Chiefs. I think they played a little bit better. I think that pick 6 to me, the defense, especially in the red zone.
Yeah.
Last week against the Chargers, they stepped up, made a big play right there. That was pretty much the difference in the game.
Yeah.
They were getting pressure on Herbert as well, which I didn't see. So, that was the defense side. Damn. But I definitely. Oh yeah, I'm bugging. I don't know.
Yeah, you're good. You're right there. Yeah.
So I got a lot going on. But yeah, I think the defense looks. They were getting a lot of pressure. They even injured them. forced him out of plays, or forced him out of a play, and then he came back and whatever. But like their defense to me on paper just doesn't look good, but they play a lot better on paper, or a lot better in the game than they look on paper. So I'm going to lean slightly towards to the Chiefs. Maybe if Leonard comes back this week, it'll be a different story. Their defense will get that rejuvenated spirit or whatever fighting spirit that they need, because they definitely need something against this team. Man, I don't know about the Colts, man. When you get shut out like that, the only team to get shut out this whole season so far, and like the league is offensive based.
Yeah.
When you get shut out by, I know it's a division team, but it's the Jaguars of all teams who won like 3 games last year. And I know Jacksonville's had the number and all that, man, but come on, yo. Corey had him in the Super Bowl, I think. I think he had him winning the Super Bowl.
Good luck with that.
I just don't see it. I actually see an 0-2-1 start. So I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah.
Let me go Chiefs 34-23.
Yeah. When Corey made that pick, I was like, okay. All right. All right. You know, my Super Bowl pick is still looking okay. And y'all picked the Bills. I picked the Ravens. I'm still content with it. Both of our teams are in the top 10. Oh, Corey's Colts is not doing good. Anyway, Chiefs versus Colts. I gotta give it to Andy Reid. He is. I don't know that many coaches I would pick above him. Maybe Belichick, but not this year. He's probably that Belichick this year. Maybe McVay, maybe, but you know, Andy Reid's probably the best coach in the game right now. So, and Frank Wright probably won't be there next year. That's probably what it's looking like. He's probably gonna get fired because they're not gonna make the playoffs.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I picked them with the division, but if they go 0-2-1, that's tough. That's tough, man. Not a lot of teams have done it. Offense. I mean, I got to go with Patrick Mahomes, and like you said earlier, I think he's becoming a better quarterback, which is even scarier because he doesn't have to depend on Tyreek Hill, and Kelsey's going to get his touches. But you got, he even came out and was like, all right, fantasy owners, don't pick a receiver because every week is going to differentiate. It might be Juju. The only one is probably Kelsey, who's going to, but that's Travis Kelsey's probably one of the best tight ends in the game, top 3. There's him, Mark Andrews, and Kittle. But Kittle's not healthy right now, so it's Kelsey. Right? Or Mark Andrews. So, but you got MVS, Miko Hardman. They got a plethora of running backs. I think he's a better quarterback because he has to be more disciplined, and he's uncomfortable. So uncomfortability forces you to be better and look at things from a different perspective. So I think Patrick Mahomes he's even a better quarterback, which is scary. So it's scary, right? It's scary for the rest of the league. So defense, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, and I said this, and this is why I picked them to win the AFC West and probably the second seed in the playoffs. They built that defense up. Remember, they drafted that pass rusher, and they drafted that corner. So they see what's going on, and they know that in order to adapt is that they have to stop Justin Herbert. They got to stop Russell Wilson. They got to stop Josh Allen. They got to stop Lamar. Let's build the defense. We got Patrick Mahomes. We're okay on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm going to give them the defense better. And I don't know what's going on with the Colts. I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's lingering. The defense should be a lot better than this, but I mean, you got Christian Kirk looking like he earned every dime. You got people saying right now that the Jags are going to win the division. That's how bad the Colts look. So, in that being said, I wish Corey was here, but he'll listen to it, or I'll send him a clip. But I got this being a blowout. I got Chiefs 35, Colts 17. All right, Mel. Chiefs versus Colts. Who you got?
Oh, I got head coach Andy Reid, one of the top. I say this, one of the top 5 to 7 coaches all time. Definitely top 10
I agree.
without a doubt, but definitely one of the top 5 to 7 coaches all time.
I agree. Hall of Fame bound. I agree.
Offense, of course, I take Chiefs all day long. Defense, still being respectful. I mean, I'll take the Colts. I mean, I know it's looked bad, but overall, talent-wise, I'll take the Colts. I just looked at their schedule, and looking at their schedule made me kind of do this pick. And sometimes I know y'all gonna look at me like I'm crazy, but sometimes you got to win. You got to reach down and grab a set and win a game that you ain't supposed to win. Because their schedule, it could get ugly real quick. Like I'm looking at their schedule, and this could get ugly. And when I say ugly, I'm talking about like they could be out of contention real quick. Their schedule is no joke.
No.
Like no joke. Like I'm looking at now, like even after Kansas City, you got Tennessee, you got Denver, you got Jags again, Tennessee again, Washington, Patriots, Raiders, Eagles, Steelers, Vikings, Chargers. Like this schedule is ridiculous. So I'm gonna go in an upset. I'm gonna go with the Colts 27-24 in an upset.
What? All right. Corey must have texted him, yo. Corey must have texted him, yo. All right. All right. Packers versus Bucks. I think this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. And so offensive wise, you have Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. Mike Evans is suspended again. You know, they still have Leonard Fournette. But I'm going to give the offensive side to the Packers. They have 2 really good running backs. They have Aaron Rodgers, and they have Alan Lazard, who's the best receiver right now in the game because Mike Evans is suspended. So I'm giving the offensive side to the Packers. Defensive side, I got to go Bucks. The Packers, I don't know what they were doing with Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, but they look crazy. But the Bucks have legit been like I knew they were going to be. And I think we all said it when we were doing the team breakdowns. Like the Bucks defense is sick on all 3 levels, and they've been proving that. So that's all. So I gotta give the defense to the Bucks. Now, the coach. This is actually interesting. I'm gonna give it to LaFleur because of 13-4, 13-3. He's dominated the regular season. So I gotta, see, not see, but I think he's just a better head coach. And we gotta see how Todd Bowles does this year. I think they'll go to the playoffs. People have to go into the Super Bowl, which I'm not mad at. We'll see. I think Todd Bowles is a good head coach. I just know Matt LaFleur's track record of him being a head coach, and I got to give him the edge. Overall, I think this is going to be a better game than people anticipate. I think it's going to be defensive. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think both quarterbacks are trying to find it, but this game is huge, and I'm going to go Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to pull out a win, and I think it's only because of the Bucks offense not really being to where it's at, and I think Aaron Rodgers figures out their defense, and I have the Packers winning 21-17. Mo, Packers versus Bucks. Who you got?
Head coaches, I'm gonna take Matt LaFleur. No disrespect to Todd Bowles, but just more accomplished of a head coach. 13 wins, 3 straight seasons.
Yep.
Offense. I'll take Green Bay only because of the running backs. I'm only taking Green Bay because of the running back. I know it sounds weird to say this, but I'm taking because of the running backs because you got Godwin out, you got Evans out. I mean, it's what's left. Julio and what? Scotty Miller? I don't know who else there. So defensively, I'll take Tampa. Overall, this is what's gonna come down to, and I'm gonna say this: even with the Bucks banged up like they are, this is about to be the game that's truly going to expose that they don't have the weapons. Because I think when you can't get the ball, Todd Bowles and them are going to scheme it up to where if you can't get the ball downfield and you don't have no weapons downfield, we're gonna get after you. And Aaron Rodgers is not gonna be able to get. Aaron Rodgers is not gonna be able to get out. Like, I think it's gonna get exposed more that he doesn't have them weapons. So I'm gonna take Tampa in a close one. I'm gonna take Tampa 27-20.
All right, Craig, who you got? Packers versus Bucks. I know where you going, man.
This game is going to be terrible. Really.
Ah.
This is one of the few years you got a big time matchup,
and
I'm not looking forward to it at all. Coaching, I'm going Matt LaFleur. I just think, like y'all said, 13 wins, 3 straight seasons. Todd Bowles hasn't coached in a while, so I'm going Matt LaFleur. On the offensive side, I'm not doing any pushes, man, but this is terrible again. I don't even know what to do there.
It's bad.
The quarterback's okay. I don't know what Tom Brady's dealing with. He missed training camp. Then he has
with family issues, man.
Him and his wife possibly going through some stuff. So maybe that's still factoring in. Not to mention his offensive line is banged up. He doesn't have Mike Evans this week. He doesn't have Chris Godwin this week. Julio Jones hasn't practiced. Nope. Maybe I don't know if Russell Gage has practiced.
I don't know. Was he hurt?
Russell Gage is limited practice today. Yeah. He didn't play last. I don't think he played as much last week, but he played, but he was hurt. They went out and they got Beasley. Yeah. Like, come on. If you're going out and you're signing Beasley, something's wrong.
It's a little rough.
I would have tried to at least sign Will Fuller before I signed Cole Beasley, but whatever.
Yeah. I would. I don't want to buy they didn't sign Will Fuller.
This is rough. I'm gonna probably do what Mo just did. I think it's based off the offensive line, but mostly based off of the running backs. I do like Fournette, but I mean, at least the Packers have 2 other running backs there that they can lean on. So I think they have the better running backs. The wide receivers are basically even. The tight ends are even as well. The quarterbacks to me are even because Tom Brady just hasn't looked like Tom. Neither quarterbacks look like their self this year. So I'm going to just go with Packers on the offensive side. Defense, I'm going with the Bucks. I mean, their defense is crazy this year. Now they didn't play a full healthy Saints team last week because they were missing Kamara, and that game was terrible too for the first 3 quarters. Whatever. So I'm just gonna assume this game is gonna be trash too. The Bucks haven't looked good. The Packers haven't looked good. I think I picked the Bucks.
Yeah.
So earlier on my spreadsheet before the season started. So I'm sticking with the Bucks. I don't know why. I don't really have a rhyme or reason right now. I'm going 20-17 Tampa.
All right. And Mo, gonna finish up with you. 49ers versus the Broncos.
No. All right, Coach. Kyle Shanahan. I mean, you can't. There ain't no need to go there.
Can't hack it.
Yeah. Offense.
Just stop saying that.
Yeah. Offense. Offense. Even with Jimmy G in there, and you know the offensive line, the physicality. I'm gonna go with Denver. Overall weapons wise, I'm gonna go with Denver. Even with Debo there, I'm gonna go with Denver. Defensively, I'm gonna go with 49ers. I think defensively, I'm gonna go with 49ers. This is a tough game to pick here. It's tough. It's tough. You gotta get it going eventually. You gotta get going eventually. This is a tough one here. If Russell Wilson never play like they did against Houston, this could be a blowout. But because Jimmy G is going to be more efficient and then Trey Lance, but I'm gonna go Denver. I'm gonna go Denver in a defensive battle. I'm gonna go Denver 21-17.
All right. Ooh. All right. Who you got, Craig?
Man. Okay, so the quarterback, the coach, I'm going with Shanahan. Obviously Nathaniel Hackit hasn't been there long enough, so can't really pick him. The offensive side, like on paper, it looks like it should be the Broncos. They have pretty much everything that you need. You got two good running backs, two good wide receivers, a tight end who's decent, quarterback who's a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo on the other side. But like the way they looked against two teams that they should have, to me, that they should have blew out, Seattle and Houston. Now I know the 49ers, they have two teams that they should have blown out too, the Bears, but that was a rainy monsoon.
That was weird,
game.
man.
And then you had the Seahawks, who they actually went in there and they took care of business.
Yeah.
And George Kittle practiced today, so maybe he'll play this week. That's just another guy they can have. 49ers seem to be maybe a little bit more comfortable. And like I said, it was the monsoon game that Lance played in, so he unfortunately didn't get enough time.
I think if it wasn't a monsoon game, he would have balled, but
probably. And now you have Garoppolo in there, and the 49ers are definitely comfortable with Garoppolo, obviously. Went to the NFC Championship game last year. So I'm just basing off of what I've seen so far this year. On paper, I would go with the Broncos, but just what I've seen so far on the field, I'm going with the 49ers. If they can get Kittle back, and if they get the running game going with Wilson, and they just signed, or they brought up Marlon Mack, I believe. So possibly they can get him in the mix as well. And obviously you have Debo. I like the offense of the 49ers slightly. The defense, both teams are in the top three. 49ers are 1, Broncos are 3. They both look good. It's kind of hard to judge both of these teams on both sides, mainly on the defensive side, just because they played bums.
Yeah.
This is pretty much each team's real first tough test. I'm going with the Niners slightly over the Broncos again. I think both teams definitely have the talent. It's just I'm taking the 49ers slightly. They stopped the run, or they stopped the pass a little bit better. They stopped the run a little bit better. So they're both averaging or giving up the same amount of points. So I'm just pretty much flipping the coin here, going with 49ers. And this game, I picked the Niners earlier, and I gotta stick with them. Even though they don't have the same quarterback that I thought they would have when I made these picks. And I'm sticking with it. I think the Niners get the job done. They go into Denver. I wouldn't even call it an upset. I just call it a win. Both teams are in the same boat. I think both teams need this win. Both teams playing tough divisions. But I'm going 49ers. We're going 24-17 to 49ers.
Yeah, Coach, I gotta go Kyle Shanahan. Not only he's been to the Super Bowl. Obviously, I'm a fan of Shanahan's. I was a fan of his father. I just think he can coach. I think he's one of those guys that he was kind of not born into it, but it was like, my father's a coach and I'm gonna be one. And he's a successful coach. They were in the Super Bowl. they've been to the championship game just last year. And it's not like they got blown out. They lost to the Rams by 3 points. So who would have knew if they would have went to the Super Bowl, they might have won. So I gotta give it to Shanahan. Nathaniel Hackett, he gotta get some more time, especially making, in the words of Craig, that was a rookie move, burning timeouts. Clock management is horrible. So he just got to get it together. Offensive, Denver has a better quarterback, a better running backs. I'm going to give receivers 49ers, O-line 49ers. So it's, I don't want to say push. I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers. Because Jimmy G's back, he's able to operate that offense. He knows the offense. He knows the players. Everybody's comfortable. Russell Wilson's not comfortable yet. And not being comfortable can hinder you in the NFL to a certain extent. Like it depends. I'm not talking about uncomfortable with Patrick Mahomes, where he knows the offense and passing different receivers. I'm talking about he doesn't have a relationship with the receivers, and the offense that he has, it's more that he has to learn to get in cadence with. Defense is close, man. Broncos, and Craig broke it down. Broncos and 49ers are right there. And this is probably going to be a defensive game. And I picked the Broncos. And I think I'm going to stick with it. At first, I was kind of leaning like, I should pick San Francisco. And some told me, I was like, listen. I know people love Jimmy G. Not a big Jimmy G fan. And if they force him to pass, he's going to do what Jimmy G does, which is make mistakes. Now, can Denver capitalize on them? I don't know. But I think Denver is going to pull up. I don't even know if it's upset or not. I think Denver's going to win. And the score is going to be 24. Nah, I'm going to give it, 24-17. Denver wins. But it's going to be a weird, ugly game.
You say 24-17?
Yeah, man.
You stole my score, huh?
Hey, man,
yeah. I don't know, because I wanted to go 21-17. But I was like, nah, I like 24 better. And I wanted to go 17 to like 12, but I was like, no, so I give their offense a little bit more credit. I don't know, man. I think could do one